Right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the session. Could please somebody confirm to me you can see my screen and hear me well? I'm back at my desk, so you should be able to see everything and hear well. Brilliant. Thank you. Right. Now you must have noticed that we have changed slightly few things in this, presentation thumbnail, as you can see here. Now, going forward, we will have slight few changes. I really hope these changes would actually help you, get better at your trading and also give you some more insight what we are looking at going forward. Because the idea is to actually make your life easier, but at the same time, give sort of a sequence to everything what we do here. So going forward, what we will be doing is, as usual, we'll kick off the session with the geopolitics and the fundamental analysis. Then we'll have Forex pairs, all of them, then commodities, indices, cryptos, stocks, and your requested charts. Shortly, you're going to see the lists anyway. And going forward on the YouTube as well, you're going to see some changes happening. Again, the intention is to make your life easier. Because what we have been getting some feedback from every one of you, that it's slightly longer to actually watch these videos, because if you, let's say you wanted to actually go through, for instance, any of the exotic pairs, you'd have to watch the rest of the 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes before we get back to there. So we are going to make your life easier. So instead of actually going through the whole video, I'm just referring to the YouTube audience at the moment. No, our members, because our members, you'll have exactly as it is everything, just the change in in the sequence. So that would be potentially everything that you are seeing on your screen would be happening going forward. Shortly, you will have a better understanding of what we are going to do. The trades of the week will be posted on your dashboards as usual, right after the session. So that is pretty much what's going to change. Now, as usual, we'll kick off with what we have said last week and what market has done this week. Okay. And I really, really hope you guys have been making money last week, have been really good. Whether it's a messy week or not, still market managed to give us exactly what we were after. And then from that level, market dropped as well. So shortly, I'm just going to show you anyway what we are looking at. So this was the trades of the week that we have given last week. Euro dollar, we were looking for a buy setup. And again, I did mention that to you. As soon as you're in profit, make sure you keep taking some partials, keep moving your stops, because mess was expected in the market, which you are going to see anyway. Euro dollar, starting from this box, which is 7-0, every time market was coming to the 7-0, they should be giving you a buy setup. That's what I said. As soon as market opens tonight, go for a buy setup. Now, as you can see here, yes, Mark, we have started and there is sound as well. So please make sure you log off and log back in again. Again, from the euro dollar, let's go back to the chart to see what market has done here. Euro dollar have started to go to the upside from here. Instead of going to the 8-0, it actually went to 7-6, just 40 pips shy, came back down again. It's a pretty decent mess that market has made. Still is going to test that, no question. Second one we have given was silver and the gold to the upside. As you can see here, from 32, we expected market to give us a corrective structure below 15, push right back up towards 68, 70 level. Similar for this one as well. Correction to the downside, 29.15, push right back up towards 30.5. Again, as you can see here, gold has actually given us the corrective structure from here all the way towards below 15, went up towards 70, 68 level here. As you can see, precisely towards 69 and then break down from there. Similarly, for the silver as well, we expected to come down here towards 29.15 zone, then push right back up towards 30.5. It actually went slightly above than that as well. And then from there, it broke down. So again, as you can see here, even to the pips, we are actually going there. Okay. So that's what we have said. That's what market has done. So there is no question about you not making money last week because market has given you everything. Even if you have taken blindly all these trades, you must have made money. No question. Let's have a look at this week. Again, as I've mentioned to you last week, we were looking for the market cycle to complete, which market has done last week. From this week onwards, apart from Friday, we are going back again to the structures, and we will be expecting a decent market volatility and decent market structures. And then from July onwards, we are going to, start going towards the new market cycle structures, but smoothly, not messily like how we have been seeing in the June. Right. So that is pretty much, as I've said, what we have said, what market has done. So if you have missed out on these trades, then this is something that is telling you you need to be with the like-minded community in order to make money. Okay. There's no other way. Now, going back to geopolitics, you must have been hearing last week that we have been having some escalations between Israel and Hezbollah, Lebanon. Now, remember, this could escalate very, very quickly. On top of that, we are heading towards, I mentioned it to you last week as well about the petrodollar contract being expiring, and Saudi Arabia looking at BRICS to, formalize and start trading in a different currencies, for the barrels. So these two combined might not actually sound like this has nothing to do with each other, but you're going to see that threat to petrodollar is something that could actually take us towards the next war. Okay. And again, Israel and Hezbollah's war is not going to be just something small. It's not something that we have seen in Gaza and Hamas. It is going to be slightly bigger because they have much more capability and much more power compared to Gaza. And that's why if that goes towards that level, we are seeing some more instability in the world, which means we will have another structure which might actually push all the safe havens to the upside. Okay. Shortly, I'll touch base on all of them, but in all the cases, you should all be looking for some sort of a bullish strength in this week for all the safe havens, okay? And that is the most important geopolitics at the moment that I want all of you to keep an eye on, because this could escalate very, very quickly. And if that does that, and if it happens, then you're going to see that whatever the structures you're going to see in the market, you are going to see the strength in the gold, silver, platinum, most of these commodities. Okay. So keep that in the back of your head when you're selling these safe havens this week, that any news from these sides could actually push all these safe havens back again to the upside. Okay. Right, with the fundamentals, we are seeing CPI for the CAD this week being one of the major event, and GDP for the dollar. Both of these should give us some volatility in the market. Let's see what structures are going to tell us, and if there is opportunities that the market can actually, show us this week. Monday, we would be expecting BOC governor speaking. Again, I'm not expecting much of a volatility on Monday. So again, it will be potentially anything that has happened on the last Friday. You would be seeing some retracements happening on Monday. Tuesday, we will have CPI month on month, median CPI year on year, trimmed CPI, and the common CPI year on year. All these numbers, as you can see here, they are pretty much, either below the last time or equal to the last time. Apart from, the core CPI, they are saying exactly the same. So again, what you were expecting for this week from these news, as of now, I can see CAD actually getting slightly weaker, which means CAD alternatives have a potential to push back up with this news if everything keeps going as it is. On Wednesday, we are expecting CPI year on year. Again, they are expecting also the inflation to go down, which would actually weaken Aussie dollar. Even though last week they have kept the interest rate as it is, this probably would be something that would dampen the CPI in this one. Thursday, we would be expecting final GDP. Again, last time we have seen a substantial drop in the GDP for the US, and the market has dropped back then. And this time they're expecting 1.4%. Again, we might actually get a surprise in here as well, which might push the dollar to the downside. I'll explain that to you in the structure anyway, so you would have a pretty decent idea what you're trading in this week for the dollar. But prior to that, you would have my update for the Wednesday as well, so you wouldn't be lost. Don't worry about it. Unemployment claims also, they're expecting them claims to go to the upside by 2K compared to the last time, which again is negative for the dollar. So again, you can expect that these two news, they're expecting them to be, negative for the dollar. Okay. Now, Friday, just be careful. Please be careful because this is the last week of the month, and Friday potentially being the last, day of this month of June. Okay, so in this day, market makers, brokers would actually be spiking, making sure market is being manipulated. So you need to be extra careful on this day. Apart from that, everything else will be fine. Just don't take the new trade. Just manage the old ones if you have them. Taking the new trade on this day might actually be, a trap for you. So please don't get into that. But we would be expecting GDP month on month. Again, if CAD has already fallen because of this CPI, this news probably would push the CAD to the upside. Okay. So it will be opposite in this week. Then we will have PCE price index. Again, they're expecting this. This is one of the core KPI, which actually determines what the inflation is doing in the United States. So again, if this drops, that means the next time the Feds are going to meet, they will have an extensive pressure to go for the cuts in the interest rate. Okay, so that is what we are expecting for the interest rate and also for all the fundamentals. Make sure this week you trade the structures. Make sure this week you continue doing what we have been doing last 2 weeks, and make sure you keep taking some partial profits because that would be critical until the end of this month. Okay, but I'm expecting market structures to take the dominance going forward from this week. Okay, right, that is pretty much most of the fundamentals and the geopolitics. Let's have a look at your questions quickly before we actually move on to the charts. Right, have we started? Okay, that's fine. Thank you all of you for confirming to me that you can see my screen and you can hear me well. Hi T, hope you're well. I would like to hear your opinion and insight on what would be the consequences and effect on gold, silver, US oil, as well as some in-depth explanation regarding the relevant current technical structures, given the current situation arising from the tension between the potential invasion of Lebanon from Israel. Again, Adam, that's spot on, which is what I said to you. This was one of my topics for the geopolitics today. I'm expecting them all to actually get stronger. Gold, silver, US oil, all of these should be actually giving us some bullishness very, very soon. Right. Krishnagant, kindly explain the market structure cycle change you're referring to. Krishna, last week, if you haven't watched it, please go and watch the last week's Sunday session. I've actually explained it to you what happens, what is the market cycle change, and when that changes, what happens. You see, last week, I did say that to you guys. This is what we'll expect from the market. For instance, US dollar. Look at euro dollar. Look what happened. It went back up, came back right down, exactly where the market stopped. Why this is? Because of all of what's happening in the market, all of this market structure change. It's just getting ready. And again, when something is changing, what happens is you would expect something. It's a behavioral change. Okay. And that behavioral change, you can see that in the charts as well. And again, this happens not very often. So it's like, your friend, what they're going to do and how they're going to react in certain situations. But sometimes when the market is about to change the circumstances, or when your friend is actually seeing, the surroundings are changing, they wouldn't know how to react to it. What they would do, they would adapt to the new situation, new surroundings. And that's what market is pretty much doing when the cycle changes, adapting to the new surroundings. And with that adaptation makes the message structure here. Okay, that is pretty simple explanation of how market works, because remember what we are actually looking at here, it's a human behavior. And put that in, put yourself in those shoes and you'd have a pretty decent answer. What would you react and how would you react when you have a pretty strange surroundings. You would take time to understand that those surroundings before you start to being yourself. Okay, that is pretty much what market has been doing for the past 3 weeks. Why this has happened? Because of the interest rate pivots have started in few of the major banks, and that has triggered the alarm for the market that the cycle is about to change. Now market is getting ready for the change, and that adaptation is what we called the market cycle change. Okay. Nate, what's your opinion on the yen weakness on last Friday? We'll touch base on that as well. Yen has been actually, I was expecting yen to go to the downside, but I was expecting some sort of bias to actually kick in before they break the last bottom. which again, shortly, once we go to the indices, we'll touch base on that. But yen is pretty much a sell-off at the moment. Again, I do still see the way market has actually pushed to the upside without even breaking to the downside. I do see some more weakness coming to the yen before markets start to go to the upside. Perhaps not this week, next week, we can start to see some weakness, strength into the yen. Chris, hi T, do you foresee that the big Bitcoin will drop heavily because Micah in Europe says USD Theta does not qualify as stable coin and certain crypto exchanges delisting Theta? Does this affect the stability of the crypto market? If this happens, mass liquidation is inevitable. Chris, very good and spot on. And thanks for reminding me, actually. I had this thing in my mind during the week, but today I actually skipped it. It skipped my mind. I did mention that to you last time as well, that USDT is going through a lot of, mess around here at the moment. They had, the court case that was not actually coming to the, mainstream media. Also, they were actually going through a lot of, the pegging between the USDT and the USD is not that stable compared to the USDC. So yes, I do anticipate something like this to take place. So everybody in the market would actually get sort of a shock that how this can happen. And when that will happen, that will be an opportunity for us. Okay. Please do not take this as this is done. This is done. The crypto market is done. USDT was anyway. I have converted all my USDTs into USDC. And I've told you many times as well, please do that because you never know. This might be one of the points where you would be having some sort of, shake of the confidence in the market because everybody who does not have a clue about what the USDT is pegged with and what is the, the logistics behind it, how this came to USDT peg, they would get a shock in their system and then they will start to get rid of their coins. That is exactly what the big players want. Okay, because they know that before the big, run to the upside, they wanted to make sure everybody's out. And that could be one of the triggers for the market to do that. Okay, so it's a good shout, Chris. That is pretty much what my explanation and what my take on this one. Cheryl, I've read that the 80% of the trading is actually bots. Correct. But what what you are referring to is the, hedge funds and the big players. Remember those bots that, that are trading, they have been factored with the information from the human brain. Okay. So even if, let's say, you are expecting the bots to react the same way, you would still be expecting the human intervention into them. So for instance, artificial intelligence, who do you think the artificial intelligence is made up of? And also what they are actually trying to copy. They are trying to copy the human behavior. Okay. That's why it's called artificial intelligence. And again, sometimes you'd probably see that, like, there are certain movies on that now where they are actually saying they can actually perform better than the human brain. Okay. Which again, it's still a speculation. I'm still, I'm optimistic on that. But in the future, we shall see. For now, anything that you're seeing in the market, if that 80% you're referring to, Cheryl, is the big institutional investors or hedge funds, then you would expect the rest of the market makers, again, the factoring, parameters are always going to be the human intervention, human behavior into them. That's why the market is always moving in these sort of waves. Okay. Stefan, what is the impact of US Treasury putting on Japan on the list of currency manipulator? Remember, they need to, as I've mentioned to you last week as well, Stefan, the US Treasury is in a big mess around at the moment. At the moment, Saudi Arabia previously were actually putting all of their, surplus money into the US Treasury. But since the pandemic, since the prices of oil has started to plummet, they do not have any surplus left. That's why the petrodollar is in actually threat at the moment because they don't have any surplus. And if they keep on going like that for the next 60 years, they wouldn't have any oil to sell to any other countries. That is why you see the impact of the US Treasury put on the Japan as a list of the currency manipulator. You have seen that the JXY has started to drop. But what I'm seeing at the moment is that Japan 225 getting stronger very soon. They are going to intervene very soon with buying bonds again. It might be slowly going to the upside, GXY, but you will eventually see that it's going to start going to the upside from the first week of July. That will be the impact I'm actually looking at. Now, in terms of, the polls happening, you can see that all of these transactions that are happening to the Trump campaign, to the Biden campaign for the election, we are still like four months far from, general election, presidential election in US. And most of these transactions are happening via cryptocurrency, not via treasury. And again, all these, investors, they are trying to pull out their money. And that's why they need a strong contender in order to actually, keep on, going at least until election. Okay. So again, it is a big topic. I don't want to go into too much detail of that, but I just gave it to you sort of a summarized version of it. Darko, good day to you. Next month, we have beginning of touristic season in Europe. So we can have a bigger picture next month for Euro recovery. For the Euro recovery at the moment, I wouldn't be so sure about that, because if you really look at the bigger picture, they have started to go for a pivot. At the same time, dollar hasn't. Now, if in July, Feds will not go for the rate cut, then you are seeing some more weakness in the euro for at least a good month and a half. So perhaps in the end of August, you can start to see some recovery. But again, touristic, point of view, you can actually add some, money into the economy, but there are so many other factors that are actually impacting euro and all the rest of the major currencies as well. Okay. Right, let's have a look at Nahum long view on the Oz. We can touch base on that. Now, as you can see here, you must have seen the change in my lists. Going forward, what we will be doing is we'll be looking for the Forex pairs first. The first is going to be the majors. Then we'll be looking for other Forex pairs. I did take out 1 to 2 or probably 3 to 4 max pairs from this list, but if you want me to look at it, you can ask me to look at it in the requested list going forward. Okay, but these are the ones I might be shuffling them, looking at the structures. Whatever the structures I would feel that it's ready and it has a better structure than any of these, I might replace it going forward. Okay, but that will be the list. First, Forex pairs, okay, majors, and then the rest of the Forex pairs. Then we'll go for the commodities, all of them, including US oil and natural gas. Okay. After that, we'll go for the indices. That would give us a pretty decent idea what we are actually looking at in terms of the indices. Then we'll go for the cryptos as well. So I've picked up only the top few cryptos, which market is actually, most of the time speculating. And some of these ones are going due to you asking every single week in the requested list. So I've actually added it here, so you have a pretty decent idea what needs to be done. And we will be going through them on the weekly basis without you asking me. Okay. Now, this will be that stocks that I have added, which we will be going through on the weekly basis. On top of that, if you want me to add any more onto this list, I'm happy to do it as usual, what we do. Okay. But these are the ones that we will be going through going forward in detail. Other than that, if you want me to look at anything else, you tell me when we actually hit this list. Okay. So that is going to be pretty much what we will be changing going forward. I really hope this will help you, because again, going from Forex to commodities to cryptos and then going to the other Forex pairs does not make any sense to me, because it would actually give you some sort of, if you are into Forex, then you need to be in that mode all along. And then if after that, if you don't trade anything else, then you don't need to stay on that. Okay. That is the whole idea. But I prefer you actually to listen to these sessions until the end, because you never know, you might actually be missing out on something that I might actually say towards the end of the session, but that might actually help you a lot in planning your trade that you might not think of doing that. Okay.